गोपी परानधन मदन मनोहर कालिय गमन विधान अमल हरि नाम विलास विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर वर बंशी बदन सुवास ब्रज जन पालना सुरकुल नाशन नंद गगन रखवाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर सुंदर नंद गोपाल यमुना तट चरा गोपी बसन हरा रास रसिक कृपा माया श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर भक्ति विनोद राय यशोमति नंदन ब्रजबल नागर गोकुल काना Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagar Gokula Janakana Yasomati Nandana Let's sing down the rest of them now. Namameshwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokulabhadamanam Namameshwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokulabhadamanam Yashodabhyalokhalabhagamanam Paramishtamata Tatadutagopya Namamishwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasakundalam Dantam Muhur Netra Yugmam Vijantam Karam Bhaja Yug Mena Satam Panetra Mohashashakam Patre Rekham Kantha Tadvaivam Damodaram Bhakti Bhakta Namamishwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Vrikshalilabhirananda kunde Sagotam nimajanta makhyavayantam Tadyesitagyaso bhaktachitatam Puna prematastam Katha vrisivante Varam deva moksham namakshabadhimba Nachanam vineham varshadapiha Idam te bapurnatha gopalabalam Sadame manasaya virastham vimannate Idam te mukham bhojam matram sanilay Vitam kuntalay snigdha raktasya gopra Mohuschumbitam bimba raktadharam Manasa virasa malam lakshalam Damadar Ananta Vishnu Satida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimana Patano Grihanata Mamagya Nadhyakshidesha Kuberatmaja Obadha Murtaivayadvat Kayamachitao Bhakti Bhajakshitao Katha prema bhaktisha kamme prayascha namaste graho miti dhamadare namaste dhame puradipti dhame kadiya dalayatha Radhikaye Tadya Priyaye Namananta Lilaya Devaya Namo Radhikaye Tadya Priyaye Namananta Lilaya Yashoda Bhiyalokha Lakhabhamana Ramushka Bhaja Katadutta Nama Vikaram Siddhananda Rupa Nasakundalam Gokule Rajama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन श्री राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव ब्रह्म संहिता 29 verse ईश्वर परमा कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंद सर्व कारण कारण चिंतामणि प्रकर सद्म सुकल्प वृक्ष लक्षावृते सुसुरभिरभिपालयन्तम् लक्ष्मी सहस्र शतसंभ्रम सेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि वेणुं कनन्तमरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं शमशितं वदसुन्दराङ्गं कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि हालचन्द्रकलसद्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नांगदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियताप्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अङ्गानि शस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगान्ति आनन्दचिन्मयसदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि पन्थास्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानां सोऽपि अस्ति यत्प्रपदसिं न विचिन्ततत्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि एकोऽपि यशो रचयितुं जगदण्डकोटिं यश्चक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डचयाय दन्ता अण्डान्तरस्तपरमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजस्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमा सनयानभूषा सुक्तैरमेव निगमा प्रथितैस्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरस प्रतिभाविताभिस्ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभि गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। प्रेमाञ्जनच्छुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्यगुणास्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। रामादिमूर्तिषु कलान्यमेन तिष्ठान् नाना अवरात्मकरोधु भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्ण स्वयं समभवत् परमा पुमान्यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटिकोटिशेषवसुधादिविभूतिभिन्नं तद्ब्रह्मनिष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। माया हि यस्य जगदण्डशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतद्विषयभेदवितायमाना सत्ताबलं विपरसत्तं विशुद्धसत्यं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसात्मतया मनसो यः प्राणिनां प्रतिफलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायितेन भुवनानि जगत्रस्तं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य देवी महेश हरिधामसु तेषु ते ते प्रभावनिचया विहिताश्चयेन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका छायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यश्च च तिष्ठतेषा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। श्रीरं यथा दधिविकारविशेषयोगात् सञ्जायते न हि तथा पृथगस्ति हेतु यः सम्भूतमपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। दीपार्चिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विविधहेतुसमानधर्मा अस्त्रे एव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यः कारणार्णवजले भजति स्म योगा निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपा आधारशक्तिमबलम्ब्य परां समूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्यैकनिश्यसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथ विष्णुर्महान् सह्यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। भास्मान्यथा स्म सकलेषु निजेषु तेजा श्रियं कियात् प्रकटयति तत्र ब्रह्माय दण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भ दन्दे प्रणामसमये सगनादिराजा विघ्नान् विहान्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अग्निर्मयी गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तथात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयानि यस्माद् भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति अंश गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यश्चक्षुरेष सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेषतेजा यस्यैगम्यं भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। धर्मोतपापनिचयश्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगाधयश्च जीवा यद्दत्तमात्रविभव प्रकटप्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्तैन्द्रगोपमतवेन्द्रमहोत्सकर्मा बन्धानुरूपफलभामचनातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यं क्रोधकामसहज प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावै सञ्चित्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। श्रियकान्त कान्त परमपुरुषकल्पतरवो ध्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्तामणिगणमयि तोयममृतं कथागानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं योति परमपि तदस्वादमपि च यत्र शिराब्दिशवति सुरभिश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धक्यो व्रजति नहि यत्रापि समयः भजे श्वेतादीपं तमहमिह गोलोकमिति यं विदन्तस्ते शान्ताशीति विरलचारा कतिपय ईश्वरा परमा कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर्गोविन्द सर्वकारणकः इति ब्रह्म संहिता संपूर्णम्। 5 minutes time will sing the Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karamore. That's all. Wisdom will come by the time. Can we put that song, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Katha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu દયા કરો મારે. तुम बिना के दयालो जगत संसार. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया कर मोरे. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य पतिता पावना है तो तब अवतार. तब पतिता प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी. कृपा बलकना करो दया करो सीतापते आदरित गोसा. तब कृपा बोले पाए कन्या स्वरूप रूप रघुनाथ. भट्ट जुगाति देव प्रभु लोकनाथ. दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास. रामचंद्र संग मगे भरत class 1, please take the asanas. Hare Krishna.
It's not detected. Not detected. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining for Saturday morning Bhagavatam class. We are very fortunate to have His Grace Braj Mohan Prabhu with us. I want to introduce Prabhu. His Grace Braj Mohan Prabhu joined ISKCON of Chopati. So he is serving there as a brahmachari, which is in Mumbai, one of the premier temples in India, well known for youth preaching and community projects. So Prabhu graduated from IIT Bombay. So if you would be knowing, IIT Bombay is one of the most premier institutes in India. And after that, he worked for some multinational companies, and then he started serving in the temple as a monk. He gives classes in IIT Bombay. Many students take guidance from him for life coaching as a motivational speaker. Prabhu has also did his master's degree in quantum physics from UIC Chicago. And he has also spoken at many institutes like MIT, Intel, Yale, Wall Street, TEDx, HPCL. He speaks on science and spirituality, leadership, relationships, and self-development. Right now, Prabhu is traveling USA to share his recent masterpiece entitled Gita Sutras. You must have all heard about Yoga Sutras. Now this is Gita Sutras. So it's a unique presentation on Bhagavad Gita, and the book will be available after the class. Let's welcome His Grace Braj Mohan Prabhu with a big round of applause, ISV style. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Purport, I didn't put it in this verse. So can you put it up? Yeah, we can put it right now. Yeah, after Radha. Yeah, whenever you tell us who is sitting in the booth,
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishwapad Params Parivrajakaacharya Shtotra Shisham Abhay Charnarendra Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Beauty Founder Acharya Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Saveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, all Gopies assembled devotees, all Gopies assembled devotees, all Gopies assembled devotees, all Gopies, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. we're taking this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Departure of Lord Krishna, text 27. Desha kalartha yuktani hrittapopashamani cha haranti smarataschitam govindabhitani cha. Desha kalartha yuktani hrittapopashamani cha haranti smarataschitam govindabhitani cha mime. Desha kalartha yuktani hrittapopashamani cha haranti smarataschitam govindabhitani me. Desha kalartha yuktani hrittapopashamani cha haranti smarataschitam
govindabhitani me.
Deshakalarthayuktani
Desha kalartha yuktani
Rittapopashamani cha
hrittapopashamani cha
Haranti smarataschitam
haranti smarataschitam
Govindabhitani me.
govindabhitani me. Anyone else?
Deshakalartha yuktani
Desha kalartha yuktani
hrittapopashamani cha
hrittapopashamani cha
haranti smarataschitam
haranti smarataschitam
govindabhitani me.
govindabhitani me. Desha kalartha yuktani
hrittapopashamani cha
hrittapopashamani cha
haranti smarataschitam
haranti smarataschitam
govindabhitani me.
govindabhitani me.
Deshakalarthayuktani
Desha kalartha yuktani
Rittapopashamani cha
hrittapopashamani cha
Haranti smarataschitam
haranti smarataschitam
Govindabhitani me.
govindabhitani me. Desha, space. Kala, time. Artha, importance. Yuktani, impregnated with. Hrit, the heart. Tapa, burning. Upashamani, extinguishing. Cha, and. Haranti, are attracting. Smarata, by remembering. Chittam, mind. Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Pleasure. Abhihitani, narrated. Me, unto me. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. Purport. Herein Arjuna refers to the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instructions of Bhagavad Gita not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord Himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Vedanta Sutras. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was especially prepared for the less intelligent class, namely the women, the laborers, and those who are worthless descendants of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and higher sections of the Vaishyas. The problem which arose in the heart of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Again, after the departure of the Lord from the vision of earthly people, when Arjuna was face to face with being vanquished in his acquired power and prominence, he wanted again to remember the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, just to teach all concerned that the Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kinds of mental agonies, but also for the way out of great entanglements which may embarrass one in some critical hour. The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned souls in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of the Lord's manifested energy. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita, or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord, is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord. The faithful human being who is desirous of being liberated from the clutches of material existence can very easily take advantage of the Bhagavad Gita, and with this in view, the Lord instructed Arjuna as if Arjuna were in need of it. In the Bhagavad Gita, 5 important factors of knowledge have been delineated pertaining to the Supreme Lord, the living being, nature, time and space, and the process of activity. Out of these, the Supreme Lord and living being are qualitatively one. The difference between the two has been analyzed as the difference between the whole and the part and parcel. Nature is inert matter, displaying the interaction of the 3 different modes, and eternal time and unlimited space are considered to be beyond the existence of material nature. Activities of the living being are different varieties of aptitudes which can entrap or liberate the living being within and without material nature. All these subject matters are concisely discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, and later the subject matters are elaborated in the Srimad Bhagavatam for further enlightenment. Out of the 5 subjects, the Supreme Lord, the living entity, nature, time and space are eternal, but the living entity, nature and time are under the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is absolute and completely independent of any other control. The Supreme Lord is the supreme controller. The material activity of the living being is beginningless, but it can be rectified by transferal into the spiritual quality. Thus, it can cease its material qualitative reactions. Both the Lord and the living entity are cognizant, and both have the sense of identification of being conscious as a living force. But the living being, under the condition of material nature called Mahat Tattva, misidentifies himself as being different from the Lord. The whole scheme of Vedic wisdom is targeted to the aim of eradicating such a misconception and thus liberating the living being from the illusion of material identification. When such an illusion is eradicated by knowledge and renunciation, the living beings are responsible actors and enjoyers also. The sense of enjoyment in the Lord is real, but such a sense in the living being is a sort of wishful desire only. This difference in consciousness is the distinction of the two identities, namely the Lord and the living being. Otherwise, there is no difference between the Lord and the living being. The living being is therefore eternally one and different simultaneously. The whole instruction of the Bhagavad Gita stands on this principle. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord and the living beings are both described as Sanatana or eternal, and the Lord's abode far beyond the material sky is also described as Sanatana. The living being is invited to live in the Sanatana existence of the Lord, and the process which can help a living being to approach the Lord's abode, where the liberated activity of the soul is exhibited, is called Sanatana Dharma. One cannot, however, reach the eternal abode of the Lord without being free from the misconception of material identification, and the Bhagavad Gita gives us the clue how to achieve this stage of perfection. The process of being liberated from the conception of material identification is called in different stages fruitive activity, empiric philosophy, and devotional service up to transcendental realization. Such transcendental realization is made possible by dovetailing all the above items in relation with the Lord. Prescribed duties of the human being as directed in the Vedas can gradually purify the sinful mind of the conditioned soul and raise him to the stage of knowledge. The purified stage of acquiring knowledge becomes the basis of devotional service to the Lord. As long as one is engaged in researching the solution of the problems of life, his knowledge is called jnana or purified knowledge. But on realizing the actual solution of life, one becomes situated in the devotional service of the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita begins with the problems of life by discriminating the soul from the elements of matter and proves by all reason and argument that the soul is indestructible in all circumstances, and the outer covering of matter, the body and the mind, change for another term of material existence, which is full of miseries. The Bhagavad Gita is therefore meant for terminating all different types of miseries, and Arjuna took shelter of this great knowledge which had been imparted to him during the Kurukshetra battle. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees to Srimad Bhagavatam class at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. It's my great pleasure, privilege to be at this very august assembly of Vaishnavas, and I have been a great fan of this community, hearing a lot of classes from the YouTube, and it's one of my long-lasting desires to come here to associate with devotees. And today I could manifest the desire by Balmukund Prabhu and a few devotees' invitations. And today we are taking this wonderful section of the Bhagavatam and elaborating some themes that come out of this. Arjuna has just come from Dwarka and is looking very morose. And seeing this extremely dejected state of Arjuna, Yudhishthir Maharaj starts to inquire that, because at the back of his mind, he is always having this premonition that did Krishna leave, but he doesn't have the courage, he can't gather the courage to express. And then he starts to mention different reasons why someone may become sad. And he starts to ask Arjuna, is it because of this, is it because of that? So the first reason that someone may become sad is when one's health is not good. If you are not healthy, then there is no energy, or even if there is wonderful prasad, you cannot enjoy it, or if you take, then because of indigestion, you may suffer. So often, health becomes a big reason for people to become unhappy. Therefore, it said, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So healthy, and it's important that devotees take care of health. And sometimes Maya attacks mostly when we don't have good health and we are not able to engage in services, and then Maya starts to discourage. Back in Chopati, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir, it was seen to be a trend that most brahmacharis, not most, but many of the brahmacharis that were leaving ashram was during the period when they were sick. Because when you are sick, you are not able to serve. And when you are not able to serve, then you start to feel, why am I here? Or you may also start to expect, usually in times of sickness, we expect a lot of support, emotional support. And ashram, everybody is busy in their own services, and so then we had to create a whole department called as Sevasthan, where if somebody is sick, then he is especially taken care. It said that in the crow community, I don't know if there are crows in Silicon Valley, but in crows, it said that when a crow becomes sick or hurt, all the other crows start to come and attack that crow. They almost kill that crow because they think that this may be a contagious disease, or this, his weakness may also influence us. like in some countries in India, in the world, as soon as someone is not useful for the society, he is something called as euthanasia, that they are, it's called as mercy killing. He is no more, he is not active, and seeing him inactive, that is a burden to the society, to the country, and they end that person's life, calling it as mercy killing. So in the crow community, there is no, it's just an instinct that they come, and I've seen it many times in India. As soon as a crow gets hurt, all other crows come and start to attack it. And in the dolphin community, it's seen that the moment a dolphin is sick, all the other dolphins surround that dolphin so that that dolphin can recover itself. There is no fear of it being attacked by the whales or the sharks. And all the dolphins take care of that sick dolphin. And taking care of our health is a very important aspect of. Therefore, often I say, the first obeisances I usually pay is to my own body. Please allow me to chant properly today, serve properly. And we need to respect. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is mentioning, Arjuna, during all these travels, did you get some severe sickness? Because we see even Sanatana Goswami, when he was coming to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, somehow he drank or he was infested with some disease and he wanted to end his life. He became so morose. So often one of the causes for depression is said to be ill health. Because when you are ill health, then you seek too much of emotional support, and if that doesn't come, then the person feels, when nobody cares for me. Then second question that Yudhishthira asked to Arjuna is that did someone disrespect you? Because disrespect also can become cause of sadness, that you give a class and then 10 devotees come and appreciate the class. But then one person comes and blasts. What is this class that you have given? Is this? And just one person disrespecting us will evaporate all the other 10 people appreciating the class. Of course, I am open for feedback. But disrespect can be often cause of sadness. So, did someone disrespect you? The whole cause of Drupad, Dronacharya having this great enmity towards Drupad was because he was disrespected. When he went, he was not welcomed in the court, and when Drupad didn't recognize that, how can you be my friend? You are not equal, you are a poor Brahmana, I am a rich Kshatriya. So, disrespect. Did someone disrespect you? The third, Yudhishthira asks, is that, did you fail to give charity to the right person at the right time? Even here in Berkeley, there is a Greater Good Science Center that studies a lot of this human qualities. And they came up with a paper saying that how generosity is one of the factors in someone's happiness. Those who are not generous, those who are always thinking about themselves and not willing to give some part of their wealth or energy for others, they're always calculating, what is in it for me, what is in it for me. So they are not successful because the boss is, he is not going to extend his time, or he'll rant about how, no, he has this project, this time, my time has been taken away. He doesn't develop good relationships because In a relationship, you have to be there for the other person. That there is nothing that you are getting, but you are there for the other person. So being generous with time, with one's energy and one's money becomes a cause of happiness. And therefore, we see that Mother Yashoda that used to make Krishna give charity on his birthday, that you should give gifts, should develop the habit of accepting. And I heard this, that when we are doing book distribution, one of the techniques that I was told was that you just give the book to the other person, and when something is being, the nature of this mindset is that you take. If you keep the book, do you want, they may not take. But you just put the book, and once the book is in their hands, then you want to take from that, they feel, oh, this is now mine, how can I give it? So they want to keep it, because giving is not easy. There's a saying that, man gets and forgets. God gives and forgives. Krishna doesn't expect that he should give me back whatever I am giving him. At least a thank you, but we should be. So, did you fail to give charity at the right time to the right person? Fourth, Yudhishthir says, did you break a promise? You promised something to someone and you didn't live up to that. Most of us have this trouble that we don't come on time. We promise someone, I'll come on time, I'll be there, and then we run late. At least in India it is, in US it is much lesser than India. India, if someone says 7 o'clock, then it means 8 o'clock. So, did you break a promise? Because breaking a promise, say breaking a promise to a spiritual master or to something, especially someone who has high integrity, it hurts him. If someone doesn't have integrity or great conscience, then doesn't matter to him. But for those who have integrity, then it hurts them. So did you break a promise that which you're not able to live up to it? Did you fail in protection to someone who is weak, and you saw that there was some abuse or something happening in front of you? Did you fail to protect someone because of which you are feeling morose, sad? Did you somehow associate with, landed in bad company, and and that bad company influenced you with all these negative feelings? Or did you get defeated by someone? Physical defeat and also intellectual defeat. Eighth is, did you not share your meals? Did you eat alone? In some countries where, I don't want to mention the country because someone may be here from that, but in some countries, it's said that the restaurants there are only single table restaurants, single seat restaurants. There is no concept of eating together. And often in those countries, the suicide rates are seen to be very high. So sharing meals together is a great way to unite, to feel happy. And so eating, so that's why even in the Mangalarti we sing this. Chaturvida Shri Bhagavat Prasado Swadvanna Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangan. When you take prasad with devotees, it gives great pleasure to the spiritual master, and also the devotees take great pleasure. So did you not share your meals? Obviously, Yudhishthira is not expecting that, but these were the standard of living or culture that was there at that time, that when you take prasad, if there is someone, then should take prasad together. Eighth is that did you commit a blunder, some big mistake. Ninth. And Arjuna is not responding to any of these questions. And then finally, Yudhishthir asked this question that, did Krishna leave the planet? Did you lose the connection to Krishna? Did Krishna depart? And the moment Arjuna hear this, he broke down. He started to cry, weep. And Yudhishthir didn't want to ask this question, but first he wanted to eliminate all the other reasons for which somebody can be sad. And all these are different shades of sadness. And the darkest shade of sadness is that when we lose our connection with Krishna. And in that great sadness, Arjuna, he starts to recollect all the good times, all the wonderful blessings he spent with Krishna, different occasions, events, and he started to count his blessings. So he started to, I put in a third party, that count your blessings. He started to recount different places, occasions when Krishna helped him. Krishna was there. And so it said that if you are feeling low and sad because you're not achieving something or something is not working out, then don't be sorry for what you don't have. Be grateful for what you have. So count your blessings one by one. And then when gratitude comes in, then the gratitude keeps us happy. So Arjuna started to become grateful that how Krishna was there on so many different occasions, how he helped him. And along with counting the blessings that he had received, he started to recount the teachings he had received. Sometimes, we only remember all the occasions in which our spiritual master or some devotee helped us, but we don't recount the instructions that the spiritual master gave. Sometimes in Vyasa Puja it happens that, devotees speak about, oh, Maharaj, this is what he did for me, or this is what. But what he is speaking in the class, what is the most essential instructions that he is giving, that is forgotten. So shiksha is forgotten. So Arjuna is recounting, evam chintatayo jishno krishna pada sarorham sauhardena ghadena shanta sid vimalamati. So he started to recount, evam chintatayo jishno. One of the names of Arjuna is Jishnu. Vishnu and Jishnu. Seems like buddy names. And what Krishna spoke out of great affection, pacified all the contamination in his mind, and his mind became again pacified. So when we are morose and sad, yes, all those other things are there, but Arjuna, it's not that Bhagavad Gita, it only helped Arjuna at one occasion. People often say this, Krishna is not there like Arjuna had. But Arjuna, when Krishna was not there, he recounted those teachings, he recollected those teachings, and he again became similarly inspired, and he could overcome his grief, grief of losing. is more than the grief of the fear of losing. Before the battle started, he was in grief thinking that I will lose Bhishma, Drona, all my family. But the most dearest friend of Arjuna, when he is lost, when he has gone, the grief will be at least 100 times more. One is it has actually happened, another is it happened to somebody who is so close to him. But at both times, the Gita helped Arjuna to come back. Therefore, this called as back to basics therapy. In sports, when you're not able to perform, the coach often says, get back to basics. Because often, sometimes, we start to neglect the main basics that are there. So, that's why in the purport, Prabhupada says this, that all these subject matters are concisely discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, and later the subject matters are elaborated in the Srimad Bhagavatam for further enlightenment. So the Gita and the Bhagavatam, they are very connected. They are interdependent. Prabhupada gives his example that when it comes to the book of law, there are codes of law and there are cases of law. That the codes are, in India there is IPC, Indian Penal Code, IPC section 1.3. According to this is a crime. So these are just in sutra form, in succinct what is to be done if this happens. But then there are case studies, that how did that sutra, how did that code got applied in different occasions. And most of the times, the lawyer wins the case by quoting the appropriate case studies, that in this particular situation, this is how the law was applied. Because unless we get into the cases, sometimes the codes are not properly understood. I remember when I was in my 11th grade, we were taught this very simple equation, Newton's laws of motion, and F equal to ma. Easy to remember. And when you remember that, you think you understood it. But when you are given a problem to solve, say from Resnick and Halliday, those books, or the toughest was Erudov, and that time you start to know, it's not actually that F equal to ma is not that simple. So only when we are put into a situation, or when you study how that simple sutra, that thing, code that was there is applied, then you understand, oh, this is how you apply. There's a small story in Mahabharata that Dronacharya, he was teaching a lesson, and he taught this lesson that do not become angry. How anger is not good. And he asked all the students, so did everyone learn the lesson today? Do not get angry. Everyone raised the hand except Yudhishthira. So Dronacharya asked, this is such a simple lesson, you did not learn? Okay, study, come tomorrow, I'll ask you again. Like that 1 week passed, and Yudhishthira is still not raising his hand that I have learned the lesson. Then he said, he is just delaying to study. Sometimes it happens. Children, they want to delay. So they say, homework, this is not completed. So Drona became furious. He took up a stick to come and, chastise Yudhishthira. And can't you learn this simple lesson that do not get angry? And then Yudhishthir said, yes, I learned the lesson now. Do not get angry, I have learned the lesson. That, how did you suddenly learn the lesson? So Yudhishthir said, no, I was not put into a situation where I could get angry. And now is a situation where, you are almost about to beat me and chastise me for no fault of me. I am trying to, learn this lesson, and I didn't get angry. So therefore, I can emphatically say that I learned the lesson. And then Dronacharya said, in teaching you the lesson, I forgot the lesson. I got angry. So only when the principles come into practices, we understand that whether I am sticking to the principle or not. Humility, it's easy to speak about humility. But say when we go for book distribution, when the other person says no, what is the emotion we get? Do you want to beat up that person? Do you want to, how can you say no to me? I have presented you such one nice logic and I'm giving my time. Or do you actually, take the no? Vaisheshu Maharaj nicely says, the more no's you get, the more Krishna is happy. That means you're trying so many people. So, the cases of how the principles of spirituality are applied are in the Bhagavatam. So, the Gita is the codes and the Bhagavatam is the cases. And so if you're not learned the codes, when you hear the cases, then you may draw your own conclusion of what may be the code. Once a teacher, she brought a glass of alcohol. She put the glass of alcohol there. She brought in a worm, and she put the worm in the alcohol. And the acidic nature of that alcohol, because of that, the worm just got dissolved in that. And then she asked the students, so what is the lesson you learned from this? So one student raised his hand and said, we should drink alcohol because it will dissolve all the bacteria, worms in the stomach. So the lesson is important. The lesson that the teacher wanted to teach is that if you drink alcohol, see so much acidity, what will happen to your stomach? It will just get burnt. But the student, he learned the other way. And there's another thing, that said, once a wife was telling that, see this article in the newspaper, how cigarette smoking is bad. So when he read that, said, I'm giving up. What are you giving up? Giving up reading newspapers. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this wonderful principle, that there is a story, when it is told, every story has a moral that is embedded in it. The purpose of telling a story is so that the person understands the moral properly. It's easy to say, one should be honest. But you will not understand it fully unless you tell it through a story, nor really remember that. So, in every story of Bhagavatam, there is a moral. And in every moral, there are stories that are, we can create many stories if you know what is the moral that you need to teach. So many of these stories that what I told now, it's not that they are real stories. The moral I wanted to teach, that how we can mistake a lesson. And once you know the moral, the story can be, you can change the names, you can change the context, because the main aspect of the story is the moral. Sometimes when when there is a class, people remember the joke and the story, and they forget the lesson, the moral. So in the 4th chapter of Krishna, he speaks about this karma and akarma. And one of the understandings is that karma is the story of our life, what's happening. And akarma is the essence of that story. The essence of our life is to come to devotion, is to come out of the reactions of the karma. And if you see bare thread, in the story you will never see the moral apparently there. But all through the story, the essence is the moral. So therefore Krishna says, one who sees a karma in akarma and akarma in akarma, and when we read that, it becomes like a bouncer. What is Krishna speaking? But Krishna is speaking this essential aspect that one should see the moral in the story of our life, that are you able to come out of the bondage of karma, and which is bhakti. So the moral of every story of our life is bhakti. So therefore Prabhupada also says akarma is bhakti. So the true purpose of telling a story or living a story is to come to the moral, is to come to that loving platform. So the stories that are told in the Bhagavatam and the morals are also there in the Bhagavatam, but as the codes are initially there in the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, to understand the correlation between these two is important. So when I was doing my study for during COVID time for this Gita Sutras, which is now come as a book, initially it was a course. So when I was doing my study and going in depth in our Acharya's commentaries and other paramparas and some other influential thinkers on the Gita, then in some places our Acharyas, they beautifully bring up how different stories in the Bhagavatam are explaining some of the principles that are there in the Bhagavad Gita. Else, what happens is Gita is another study, Bhagavatam is another study, Chaitanya Charitamrita is another study. When I initially had joined ashram in 2006, one of my seniors, Govinda Prabhu, used to take a brahmachari class called as Bhagavatam in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. That if you don't see how Bhagavatam is being applied in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, then it's a disconnected reading. When you study academically, what you study in 9th and 10th, that becomes like the basis for further study, for 11th and 12th, for engineering, for PhD. But sometimes in our studies, Prabhupada does mention many times the connections. So one of my attempts was, when the Acharyas are mentioning, can I correlate and connect the Bhagavad Gita principles that are being explained in the Bhagavatam, just like Govind used to do for CC and SB. Of course, that's a even more in-depth discussion. So therefore, my topic today is Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a elaborate subject. I will just take few stories that come. Before that, I'll just some places why how Prabhupada has given importance that to study these two together is mentioned. Thus, both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are like torch bearers for the blind people of this age. Another purport Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study of the Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is for beginners in transcendental science, and Srimad Bhagavatam is for graduates and postgraduates in transcendental science. And this purport, Prabhupada says, the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita in the description of second canto, the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is further explained here in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you have not focused your attention properly in understanding 11th chapter, this chapter becomes like an independent study. You don't see you don't understand the codes, you just take the story and it becomes too big to grasp. So in that way, Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study of the student of Bhagavad Gita. Both of them are signs of Krishna, the absolute truth, and so they are interdependent. In science, there has always been this attempt. When I was doing my quantum physics, the goal was that can you come up with understanding of reality in such a simple way that you can print it on a t-shirt. E equal to mc square, F equal to ma. So can you come up understanding? And this is always that the sutra means once you take that, through that you can start to understand everything. One of the sutras of cleanliness, in which all aspects of cleanliness fall, is that everything has a place, everything in its place. This is the sutra of cleanliness. In this, everything comes. Brooming comes, keeping things wherever it has to be there, everything comes. So the Gita is in codified form, codes, and Bhagavatam is the cases. Bhagavatam also, it's also an extension. It's not that whatever you study in 9th and 10th, same thing is taught there. It's much more in-depth study. So the Gita ends with this, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam, that give up all types of concocted or preliminary or subsidiary dharmas. Prabhupada, in one purport, he says, give up all types of manufactured obligations or religion that we manufacture. I have to know it. And then Bhagavatam starts with Dharma Projita Kaita Vatra Paramo. That give up all, this Bhagavatam is there for those who are willing to give up all types of Kaitava Dharma, all types of fake or pseudo religions that appear to be religion. So this one verse, let's recite it from the Gita. Mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhakta sangha varjita nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yasa mameti pandava. In the purport, Prabhupada writes this. This verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And there is a book by Yamunacharya called as Gita Artha Sangraha, in which the whole chapter he makes it into one verse. And amazing that the whole chapter is there in that one verse. And that is one of my main basis for writing this book, Gita Sutras, is Yamunacharya's Gita Artha Sangraha. So in some of the commentaries, it said this verse is elaborated as the Gajendra Moksha, the pastime of Gajendra. In the pastime of Gajendra, Gajendra, he lives this verse. Mat karma krin. Is that whatever you do it for me. So what does Gajendra do? At the end of his life, when the crocodile is eating him up, when Vishnu comes, he takes this lotus. That was all that he could do was just pick up a lotus and he offers him. So mat karma krin. And mat paramo. Make me your goal. The goal of Gajendra was not to get out of that crocodile. That became an impetus. Like sometimes, impetus for coming to the temple, maybe prasad, maybe to meet someone or something or other. But eventually our goal should not stay there. Eventually our goal should become, how can I please Srila Prabhupada or Gurudev. So Gajendra initially he was in pain, but through his pain he understood that my goal for offering these prayers is not to get out of the crocodile, but my goal is to surrender myself to Krishna, making him as the supreme goal. Even when Draupadi lifted her hands and offered herself to Krishna, it was not, Krishna, I surrender to you, please protect me. I surrender to you means whatever you want me to do, you do. So, Dushyasanena Hritavastra Kesha Agre Kuruna Mata Pandavanam. That in front were the Kauravas and back were the Pandavas. Dushyasanena Hritavastra Kesha. And Dushasana was trying to disrobe her, pull her hair and clothes. Krishna tad akrosha ananya natha. That time Draupadi understood that I don't have any other shelter. Govinda damodara madhaveti. She surrendered herself fully to Govinda. Krishna, now I am in your hands. You want me to be insulted? It is up to you. You want me to protect me? I am your responsibility. I surrender to you. So, Gajendra made Vishnu, surrendering to Vishnu as his goal. That's what Mat Paramo. And making him the goal, he was chanting the prayers, Mad Bhakta. One of the Navavidha Bhakti, one of the items is to offer prayers to Lord Krishna. Either prayers that our acharyas have composed or prayers that we can sincerely offer from our heart. So Mad Bhakta. So he started to chant the glories of Lord Vishnu. And Sangha Varjita. His dependence is his expectation that my family can protect me, if my friends can protect me. He gave up all that expectations. That he could see that all his friends, all his family members, when he is in the jaws of death, no one can save me. So he gave up all types of that attachment. He rejected all that attachment to material association, Sangha Varjita. And the most difficult, which Krishna says, is Nirvaira Sarva Bhuteshu. He did not have any kind of vaira, means enmity, hate towards the crocodile which was killing him. So not having these four may be kind of externally easy, but to not have any kind of hatred, not harbor any kind of enmity, jealousy towards any living entity. The usual tendency is, somebody who is better than us, we start to envy them. And somebody who is lower than us, we start to belittle them, look down upon them. And especially in a place where a lot of powerful people are there, successful people are there, envy can be very strong. So here in Gajendra, he just saw him as a impetus, an instrument to surrender to Krishna, he gave up any kind of vaira. Even Ambarish Maharaj had no animosity towards Durvasa. So when we follow these 5 qualities or steps, then Krishna says, yes, Mam eti Pandava. Definitely he'll come to me. So that verse Prabhupada beautifully explains, and he says that this is the essence of the Gita. The essence of the Gita is this 5 things. What is the goal which we are pursuing? Not just some people. Day before yesterday I was saying that some people may have that my goal is this and this, but one's goal is shown by one's actions. I want to read. That may be your goal. But when you get time, what are you doing? You are with your mobile, getting distracted. Therefore, actions are louder than words. One's precept one's conduct is more important than one's precept. So what is the goal that we are pursuing? And what are we offering our actions to Krishna? And are we are we doing our sadhana? Are we dependent on or expecting that our security is in the things that we are acquiring or the people that are around us, and not having any kind of animosity. And so these 5 steps, when one does, Krishna comes running to save the devotee. Somebody painted a drone view of this pastime. It's beautiful. How Gajendra, how would be the view if we see from Krishna's point of view, that Lord Krishna is coming, and some place Gajendra is just being attacked, and it's Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. No, this is normal. But because Gajendra is sincerely offering prayers, Lord Vishnu, who is in the spiritual realm, this is at least maybe a 200 feet above. But imagine this same viewpoint from the spiritual realm. It hardly matters. But when Gajendra calls from far, from his core of his heart, distance doesn't matter. Krishna comes running to save that devotee, and he throws the Sudarshan Chakra to cut the head of the crocodile. We had gone to this very place where Gajendra had caught this crocodile. It's in Nepal. And the beach there, the bank there, is almost shaped like a crocodile. It's like this. And we took a boat on the same place, because opposite side is Valmiki Muni's ashram. And somehow the boatman was a bit greedy, so he took in more people than that boat could handle. And we went just 10-12 feet into the waters, and the boat capsized. And then suddenly somebody shouted, "This is a crocodile infested place, run!" Even now there are a lot of crocodiles there. And when the boat was capsizing, it was a very interesting scene, that because there was luggage, different things, and you could only pick up something. So most people were very alert that their mobile should not get wet. They were ensuring that their mobiles, they are removing from their pockets and kind of taking it up. And that boatman, I can never forget that scene. The boatman had a lantern, in the night to row. His whole concern was that the lantern should not get wet. He lifted the lantern up. So in times of crisis, what is dear to each person is revealed. Now this has become dear from first thing in the morning to the last thing before we sleep. We keep looking at that. So this pastime also is a elaboration or the proof of 2.40, where Krishna says, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamasya dharmasya Trayate mahato bayat. That even if a small endeavor is done in the spiritual progress, that is never vanquished, because Gajendra, the prayers that he was offering, the chanting that he was doing, is from his past life. What shlokas he learnt in his last life, that came to his memory in that crisis. So this is a proof of that, and that is mentioned. So it is by the will of the providence. So I am not having any kind of animosity. He's saying that it is by the will of providence I have been attacked by this crocodile. So he is not blaming the crocodile for his situation. And therefore I shall seek the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is one story. Another is this verse in the Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Krishna is explaining what is the highest of all knowledge is bhakti. It is the most confidential of all knowledge. But in discussion of this verse, our acharyas say this refers to the Makanchori of Krishna. The highest of all knowledge that is there in this creation is the art of churning butter. Any devotees that have churned butter here? So you're all the most accomplished, not PhD from Berkeley or Stanford or postdoc. Because a knowledge is known by its capacity to solve problems and by its capacity to bring something great in this world. So Krishna is saying the Gopies of Vrindavan are the highest academicians because they know the art of love, which attracts the Supreme Personality of Godhead to come and steal it. So, and it is explained that all the journey that is happening in our life, the fruit of all that is that when we can make our heart soft like butter. If because of vidya you start to become arrogant, then such kind of vidya is not true result. Therefore in the Gita 4th chapter, vidya vinaya sampanne, that the fruit of vidya is humility, softness, soft heart. And often when the head is heavy, the heart is not soft. Your head is in the clouds. So, and the Gopis of Vrindavan, they churn this butter to offer to Krishna, but they also are very shy to offer it directly to Krishna, because they want to see, does Krishna like our butter so much that he'll come and steal it. So they love Krishna, but they don't manifest that love easily. They keep it very secret in their heart. Therefore it is Rajaguhyam. The love that a devotee has for Krishna is not for public display. It's not to impress people. It is to inspire people. A devotee may share his devotion for Krishna, and in the Bhagavatam it is said, fourth canto, that when a devotee is filled with love for Krishna and when he shares through his mouth, the nectar drops come out. And those nectar drops, when they go into the ears of the hearers, then their heart gets filled with devotion. But the most confident things, we keep it secret. Whatever we value, money or whatever, we keep it very secret. Therefore, Krishna is saying, Rajaguhyam. The love of the gopis is that they cannot come directly and offer me that here is my love for you, Krishna. So they keep it in their homes, hidden, so that I go and steal it. Even in temple, when we offer different Mahaprasad to the lordships, there are some Mahaprasad which we may openly distribute. But say special rasgulla or sweet. Long back, I remember in Kartik Yatra, Govardhan Puja time, Radhanath Maharaj had also come to cook, and he cooked samosas. And 2,000 people, everybody was having the eye on that particular samosas. And there was whole guards that were put that this samosa should not get stolen. And there was it was kept in a pot that is very distinct, and everybody was eyeing on it. Even in a temple, I don't know how it is here, Mahaprasad is usually kept in lock and key. It is not openly kept, because in ISKCON your iPhone will not get stolen, but Mahaprasad will get stolen. So something of value, of so value that the person is willing to even steal it. So Krishna, the gopis make Krishna's attempt to take butter. It's not, oh Krishna, if you just open the door, it is right there and written for offering to Krishna. They keep it very hidden to see what is the extent that Krishna goes to steal it. And so therefore, the love of the residents of Vrindavan manifests in the form of butter, and that they keep it very hidden to see how much is Krishna's eagerness. And when Krishna steals this butter, it is not apavitra. Stealing is, condemned in this world. But it is pavitra. It is uttamam. It is not under the modes. And it is susukam kartum avyayam. It is an never-ending pastime. Every day, different ways the gopis are making job of Krishna difficult, and he is able to crack through. So it's a fascinating episode of stealing of butter. And beautifully, this verse. So ever since I have heard this understanding, this verse is not just a dry verse for me. It brings, so when a story is there with the moral, then the moral becomes sweet, the story becomes sweet. We don't have time, but can anyone guess this story, what context in the Gita it connects? Yes. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sanga sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibhrama smriti bhramshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. I don't have to tell the story how Ravana, to just hearing got sanga sanjayate kama. So attachment is not just physical, it's mainly mental, that how much you keep on thinking about that. And then one more thing I'll just share, that even in 12th chapter, when Krishna is speaking about Vyakta and Avyakta, Madhvacharya explains that Vyakta is Krishna, Avyakta is his energy, of Krishna, or what which belongs to Krishna. And he says, Avyakta is Lakshmi Devi. And those who run after Avyakta, the energy of God, he says, Klesho Adhikarastesham, they go through great misery, and they get asakta. They are, because of their asakti for Lakshmi Devi, Sita Devi. Ravana was attached to Sita Devi. And avyakta hi gatir dukkham. And such a attachment to Sita without the Vyakti, without the personal form of the Lord, only results in dukkha, in misery. So the pastime of Ramayana is just at the stage of kama, how you can lust, but it is also the stage of how one can neglect the personal form of the Lord and run after the energies of the Lord. And then in this verse, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Pra, because time is short, 9:30 I'm supposed to end, so I'm just Nainam Prapya Vimuyati Sthitwasya Mantakalepi Brahman Rinvanam Richati. So here Krishna is saying, one who is situated on the spiritual platform, he, even at the end of his life, he attains spiritual realm. But Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, Brahma is the masculine form of the Lord, the great. Brahmi is the feminine part of the Lord. So therefore, Brahmi means the spirit, the Hladini potency, or the feminine part of the Lord. And therefore Krishna is saying, one who is situated himself under the shelter of Srimati Radharani, or in devotion service. And Brahmi also means the name, like Nama Nami. So the name of the Lord, one who situates himself in constant chanting of the Lord's names, or under the shelter of Radharani, he, at the end of his life, he comes back to me. So in this way, this is a beautiful meditation that not all stories are clearly given, but there are some that have this reference. So I thought I'll just mention this, so our study of the Bhagavatam is not removed from the understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. Both get embellished, both, as Prabhupada says, both are interdependent. So thank you for kindly bearing this small little presentation on the... We started with how 10 types of sadness can come, and then we extrapolated that to how the Gita and the Bhagavatam, how they are interconnected and how we need to... So one is codes, another is cases, one is the story, another is the moral, how we need to see story in the moral, moral in the story. Okay? Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. It is both enlightening and enlivening. So, Prabhu, I have one doubt in this verse that Sutta Goswami spoke, where he says that Arjuna became Vimala Matihi. He became purified from the contamination. So, on one hand, we see that the Gopies of Vrindavan, they are experiencing this Vipralamba Bhava, feeling separation from the Lord, and we can see how they are exhibiting that. And that is considered the highest state of devotion service. Now in this case, Arjuna is also lamenting because of the absence of the Lord. He is feeling that Vipralamba Bhava in his heart. So why is it considered Mala? Why Sutta Goswami is saying that?
That it is, he purified himself from the material contamination. So there is a nice word used. Let me see if I... Before this, so I think after this. I didn't put up the verse. This Chitta and Chit, they are not same. when the chit is the spiritual consciousness. But when chit associates with the material Mahatattva, it becomes chitta. So Arjuna was at this, the Gopi separation from Krishna was purely spiritual. So, but the same word is used in the Gita in the 10.8 also, Madchitta Madgata Prana. So even there, that whole 10.8 to 12, one of the South Indian acharyas explains that as Rasalila. That there is a manifestation of Rasalila, or the essence of Rasalila is in that. So when there is slight tinge of pride or material contamination in our relationship with Krishna, that I am associated with him or on the bodily level, then even that is purified by hearing of the Gita's principle, that how Krishna is pavitram. So even in our service, no, there is that an element of material tinge that is there. And a devotee, through his understanding the teachings, he's trying to scrape off all those things. Just like, when someone is taking his shuttle up rocket, even a small deviation can take him somewhere, or even a small load can actually drag him. So the more and more one advances, more and more, like for Madhavendra Puri, for him, even thinking about what would be the recipe if I can taste it to offer it, was like he was seeing it, oh, this is not right. So at advanced stages, even these subtle things, like when we broom, for those who are very gross, once you broom, it's done. That it's clean. But like typical mothers, they'll say, where is it clean? You have to broom it twice, mop it twice, then it is clean. And you'll see that when you initially broom, the gross dust comes. But when you again broom, again the dust will appear. If you broom again, of course, it becomes subtler and subtler. So the contamination that was in Arjuna is not a gross contamination that we have. It's at the level of Mahatattva, and that is also explained in the fourth. I have that verse I can share with you. Okay, so Chitta is pure consciousness. Chitta is slightly affected consciousness. That's why Krishna is Madchitta. The Gopis they're thinking of me, but there was slight pride. So when there is that Madgata Prana, so then I leave. Madgata means then I leave. So that way they explain that Chitta word. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. This is supposed to be some presentation. Hope that.
For the Brahmi word you explained just now, I think this is the first time I'm hearing that it represents a feminine
Brahmi Sthiti Apartha.
Energy of the Lord.
Yes.
Can you please, it's something very fascinating for me. Is there any place in Bhagavad Gita which that word is used again by any chance, or in...
if you read Vishnu Chakra Thakur's commentary, he mentions there, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Apartha. So he says, Brahma is God, and Brahma is God's, and Brahmi is the feminine aspect of God's energies. And that, he says, is Srimati Radharani. Because Srimati Radharani, like even when Daivi Prakriti, Mahatma in that, what is that verse? Mahatmanastu Maam Partha Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. So Prabhupada clearly mentions there. So Daivim Prakriti is the feminine energy of the Lord, and Krishna is saying, who is a Mahatma? One who takes shelter of Srimati Radharani. So same way here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Brahmi is referring to the holy name, the Vaishnavas, and Srimati Radharani, and the process of bhakti, which is God's. And because second chapter is considered to be the whole Bhagavad Gita in concept. Therefore, Prabhupada mentions as contents of Gita summarized. So, entire Gita, just like entire Bhagavatam, is an elaboration of Bhagavad Gita. Same with the whole Gita is an elaboration of second chapter. So, the end verse, which is the last verse, Krishna is mentioning this. The end is you take shelter of Radharani, you take shelter of devotees, you take shelter of the holy name. Then you will come back to me. So that's an explanation that when I was reading through. So of course it's not directly connected to a pastime, but the concept is same. So therefore I placed it here. Even the Shishupal pastime, in the 16th chapter, when Krishna is speaking, some of the verses they connect to that pastime, and Acharyas explained that when Krishna is speaking this verse, he is remembering this particular demon and he becomes angry. Jushata Kruran, says, I condemn them. So why does he mention that? Then there is a story which Krishna is remembering, which is in the Bhagavatam. So like that, it's beautiful to study Bhagavatam with Gita. So in the book that I wrote, whatever I could find like this, some sweet things I also added in. There is more that we can go through. But and therefore I thought, because my whole tour is on the Gita Sutras, so even when I'm presenting Bhagavatam, let me present from that angle instead of just taking some other connection. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much for your kind attention, giving me this opportunity. Please forgive if there were any mistakes, and please accept this small offering. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. On the other side of these claps. So it's a bit strange for me.
Hare Krishna, next is the Kaishore representation. Today they are presenting from the Zoom. So please, they are presenting from the Zoom today. Raseswari.
Either side, this side, that side.
You can sit down. That there is no problem. You can see from there. Raseswari Leela Mataji, you can start introducing the presenter in just a second. Go ahead, Mataji. Oh, she's. You can unmute yourself, Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, Braj Mohan Prabhu. That was a very relishable class on Saturday morning. And nice to see how you're connecting the Bhagavad Gita with the Srimad Bhagavatam and, the pastimes and how you're connecting it with the verses from the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much for enlightening class. Today, actually, we are not able to do in-person presentation due to some unforeseen circumstances. So the student Madhav Shravan from the Kaishra Youth will be presenting it online. And the story from today's presentation is actually from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela. And Madhav has been a student with our Sunday school since I've known him, since he was born. And look forward to hearing from you, Madhav. Over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, just want to say something, is that on the projector we will be showing the slides, so we won't be able to see his face for the entire duration of the presentation. In the when he starts, first just ask him to just say a few words about himself so the people can see his face. Next, afterwards, on the projector, so we'll be showing the slides.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hello, Hare Krishna, everybody. My name is Madhav Shravan. I'm from Kaishore, class Kaishore, taught by her grades Rasa Leela Mataji. I am 14 years old, and I've been part of this program for my whole life.
We can now switch to the slide.
So I'm going to be presenting today from the book Disapproved but Not Disowned, chapter 4, From Death Threat to Sobering Respect. Next slide, please. So this story is based on the famous story from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Gopinath Patanayak. Gopinath Patanayak was the treasurer under King Prataparudra, and he owed 200,000 khanas to the treasury, but he couldn't pay because he used it on materialistic activities. He asked the government to take his horses as partial payment, but Parshuttam Jana, the king's son, offered a low price that angered Gopinath. Gopinath fearlessly criticized the prince because he had good relationships with the king, leading from Purushottam to demand that his father put Gopinath in a changa, a form of punishment. This leads us to our first and second lesson points that the story gives. Next slide, please. Lesson 1. Acquaintance with great people could make one callous to others and not offer respect that is due to them. This leads to unnecessary complications in life. This applies to the story because Gopinath Patanayak had a good relationship with the king that made him callous to Purushottam Jana. This led to unnecessary complication in his life, which was him being sentenced to the changa. Next slide, please. Lesson 2. Sometimes, even amongst devotees, there are reasons for conflict and misunderstandings due to inappropriate behaviors. One needs to carefully monitor one's words and actions so that they don't unnecessarily agitate others and create situations of strife. This applies to the story because Gopinath Patanayak didn't monitor his words carefully and he agitated Purushottam Jana and created a situation of strife, which was him being sentenced to the changa. Next slide, please. The devotees sought Lord Chaitanya's help, who initially refused, but later intervened after being persuaded. Next slide, please. Lesson 3. A responsible father doesn't pamper a child by supporting his misdeeds. He does needful to teach the child a lesson, yet he also saves the child from danger. This applies to the story. Because Lord Chaitanya, who acted like a responsible father, he initially refused to help Gopinath because he wanted to teach him a lesson for his misdeeds. But he later intervened after being persuaded, and by indirectly saving him from danger like a responsible father. Lesson 4. Even if the Lord becomes strict, the devotees are unconditionally kind to someone who is in distress. The devotees, even though Gopinath Patanayak committed sinful activity, they were kind enough to ask Lord Chaitanya to intervene, and that inspired an officer, as you know, in the story, inspired an officer to go to the king and who informed the king and who immediately stopped Gopinath Patanayak's execution. Next slide, please. Afterward, Lord Chaitanya, frustrated by the disturbances in Puri, decided to leave, even with the sadness of the devotees and the king. Before Lord Chaitanya left, he went to Gopinath's house, where Gopinath thanked him and he left, warning them to not commit sinful activities in the future. Next slide, please. Although Lord Chaitanya protected Gopinath Patanayak from material calamity, true mercy upon him. was the development of proper consciousness and detachment from material enjoyment, and valuing love of Krishna more. Lord Chaitanya saved Gopinath Patanai while strongly disapproving his misconduct. Next slide, please. Thank you. Thank you everybody for listening, and thank you to my teachers for teaching me all I know. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhav. I wanted to open this for any reflections or questions or comments for Madhav.
Hare Krishna Madhav, thank you for the presentation. I really like the lessons. One lesson that I like was that even if the Lord is strict sometimes, the devotees are unconditionally kind. I have heard one pastime about Srila Prabhupada. Some disciple was not following the 4 regulations, so Prabhupada said, "Oh, tell him that I will reject him." But then the devotee said, "Prabhupada, would you really reject him?" Prabhupada said, I can't reject anyone." So, yeah, that was really nice lesson. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you. I remember that pastime too. It's very heart-wrenching actually how Prabhupada protects everybody.
Hare Krishna, actually I am reminded of one pastime of Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So I heard this from another saint. So one time one of his followers was actually going to cinema. So one lady came and told Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that, "Arey, your disciple is doing all this. This is nonsense." So he said, "No, actually I am only giving you money, don't worry." So he said, "What? Tumi pagal? You are mad. Why are you doing this?" So he said, "If I don't do this, he will do more nonsense. So I am trying to control his, I am giving him very limited, because if I don't do this, he will do some more nonsense, etc. So slowly he will give it away." So he didn't give up all these offensive activities of his followers also. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that reflection.
Hare Krishna. I really like that point that a devotee has to be careful that he doesn't his actions are properly gauged. He doesn't just behave irresponsibly, and that we can learn from this story especially. Now, what that irritated the king, the prince was is the way in which Gopinath Patnaik was acting, trying to make fun of him. So devotees should be careful that their actions are appropriate, so that lesson really resonated with me. Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah, if whoever is there, I can't see. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. I just want to say the organization of your presentation is very nice. It emphasizes the importance of combining the situation and the lessons, which is the point of today's lesson. Sometimes we run into a situation and we don't know what to do, but sometimes we learn lessons without knowing how to apply them. So I think that is a good way to demonstrate the point we learned from this morning's class as well. Thank you.
Wonderful point. One question I have for you, Madhav. In the course of this presentation, what was it that touched your heart? What did you learn that was something new for you?
Top, I think. Not sure. I think it's the one where acquaintance with great people makes you callous. It's like if you're like you think like you're like with the great people, like even if you're not like in that high position, if you have a good relationship with them, it makes you think that you're in that high position, makes you even more puffed up. Like it can make you like offend people. Know that.
So, what was that you feel that you will implement from that?
I think probably lesson two because like even though I'm a devotee, I consider like honestly insult people, even though like there are misunderstandings and inappropriate behaviors. So I think I would implement that.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Anything? Sorry, I can't see so. Ravansaka Prabhu, if no one is having any other questions or comments, I would like to thank everybody for their time and attention and for encouraging Madhav. Madhav has been, like I said, with this group since he was 3 or 4 years old, and it's nice to see him grow and process these complicated topics all the way from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's not an easy subject matter, and thank you, Madhav, for all the effort that you've put, and in spite of the situation in your family, and I hope that I will hear more from you, more such presentations. And look forward to hearing more realizations as we go.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, our next program is Guru Puja. Please stand up and put away the mats and roll up the carpet, and we will have Guru Puja.
નિસ્તાર પાય છે કેવા છાડિયા વૈષ્ણવ સેવા નિસ્તાર પાય છે કેવા नाम श्रेष्ठमनुमपि शच्यपुत्रमत्र स्वरूपं रूपं तस्यागर्जमुरुपुरीं माथुरीं घोष्ठवाटिं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरमहो राधिका माधवाशां प्राप्तो यस्या प्रतिता कृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि हे गुरो ज्ञानदादीन बन्धो स्वानन्ददाता करुणैकसिन्धो वृन्दावनासी नहितावतारा प्रसिद्ध राधा प्रणय प्रचार हे दीनबन्धो करुणैकसिन्धो कुरु प्रसादं मयि मन्दमूढे लक्षापराधे बहुपापगाधे तत्पादपद्मे स्तुमतिश्च कृष्णे यद्यपि आमार गुरु चैतन्य हरदास तथापि जानीयामि ताहार प्रकाश गुरु कृष्ण रूप हया शास्त्रेर प्रमाणे गुरु रूपे कृष्ण कृपा करेन भक्त गणे शिक्षा गुरु केता जानी कृष्णेर स्वरूप अंतर्यामी भक्त श्रेष्ठ ए दुई रूपा नैवोपयन्त्यपचितिं कवयस्तवेषा ब्रह्मायुषापि कृतं रुद्धमधा स्मरन्ता योऽन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृतामशुभं विधुन्वन् आचार्य चैत्यवपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनक्ति. Without serving the representative of Krishna, nobody can approach Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudeva, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore, grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. Although I know that my spiritual master is a servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. Every living entity is eternally a servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore, the spiritual master cannot be other than a servant of Lord Chaitanya. The spiritual master's eternal occupation is to expand the service of the Lord by training disciples in a service attitude. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. The relationship of a disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. Spiritual masters always represent themselves as the humblest servitors of the personality of Godhead. But the disciple must look upon the spiritual master as the manifested representation of Godhead. One should know the instructing spiritual master to be the personality of Krishna, Lord Krishna manifests himself as the super soul and as the greatest devotee of the Lord. The initiating spiritual master is a personal manifestation of Srila Madan Mohan Vigraha, whereas the instructing spiritual master is a personal representation of Srila Govinda Deva Vigraha. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Super Soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Satma Bandhu Mui Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhavatoriya Krishna Prapti hoy jaha hoy te Krishna Prapti hoy jaha hoy te Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Akya Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Je Prasad Pure Sarva Asha Chakhudan dilo je janme janme Prabhu se दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जायते वेद गाय प्रहर चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अदम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोके राजवाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया एबे जाश कुश त्रिभुवाना जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद चैतन्य नित्यानंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद नित्यानंद Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
राधा मदन मोहन भगवान की जय, श्रीमान महाप्रभु की जय, श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining us on Saturday morning program. First of all, we would like to thank our speaker, His Grace Braj Mohan Prabhu, who has come all the way from Chopati, and he's traveling all over US. And this morning he gave a japa talk, how we can remember Krishna's holy names faithfully. And when we chant Krishna's name faithfully, then just like Krishna blew a conch shell in the battle of Kurukshetra and it shattered the hearts of all the Kauravas. Similarly, when we chant Krishna's holy names attentively, it can shatter all the material desires that is there in our heart since time immemorial. Also, Prabhu gave a very wonderful lecture on how we can connect Bhagavad Gita with Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is like the codes and Srimad Bhagavatam is like case studies with stories. So we can learn the sutras so that we can easily recollect them, and also we have the story from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhu has kindly written a book for us. It's called Gita Sutras, and those that are available, Prabhu is ready to sign them. And let's thank our speaker for today with a big round of applause. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Thank you. I specifically liked when Prabhu explained 1155, chapter 11, text 55 of Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada says is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, how we can understand that verse from the story of Gajendra. Gajendra's actions, his chanting, was all as per that verse. And that's why Lord showed his mercy. And Gajendra did not blame the crocodile for his situation. He said it is due to the providence. So he was not envious of any beings. So then he could get the mercy. He could go back to Vaikuntha. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that nice elucidation. And then we would also, do we have anyone from Bhakti community online for announcements? No. Okay, we'll continue with the Sankirtan announcements. So, yeah, Malini Mataji is any? Okay, so for Sankirtan, we recently concluded our Bhadra marathon in September 17. Now we are continuing with our next marathon, which is the final marathon for this year. It's called Live to Give. So we have a goal to distribute at least 4.2 million Bhagavad Gitas all over the world. So at ISV, we are deciding what will be our number, but it will be definitely more than 70,000 Bhagavad Gitas, which we did last year from September mid to the end of the year. So we need your help. More hands make light work. So we need your help in distributing Bhagavad Gitas. We have many spots today to distribute. One of them is Pumpkin Festival. It's one of the biggest festivals of the year. It's in Half Moon Bay. It's a very family-friendly festival. Kids go there all the time, and they distribute thousands of Bhagavad Gitas every year. People are so happy to receive Bhagavad Gita, especially the color of Bhagavad Gita. It matches a pumpkin. So you can't say no to a Bhagavad Gita in the Pumpkin Festival. So you can join us. There will be a lot of fun, lot of prasadam. And if you need to go, you can talk to me. I can connect you with the devotees there. We have other spots locally in Mountain View downtown. If you want to go just nearby for any amount of time, we have Achyuta Chaitanya Prabhu. He will take a team there. We have one team going to Arabic Sankirtan because as Prabhu mentioned in this verse in the Bhagavatam, that Bhagavad Gita is not only for one place, it is for all the places and for all time and for all places. So Srila Prabhupada has kindly given us Bhagavad Gita, which is translated in Arabic. So one team is going to a festival in Redwood City, which is for Arabic audience. So they will be distributing books there. Please pray for them. Anand Kishore Prabhu is leading the team, and Vaishnav Toshni Prabhu will be joining there. We have more teams in Campbell area. Campbell area, if you are, it's near San Jose. So Satya Sankalp Prabhu will be going there if you want to join there. And if you want any other spot, you can ask me. So thank you so much for your attention for the Sankirtan. And then the cooks for today is His Grace Ram Priya Prabhu, Her Grace Sita Rani Mataji, His Grace Sham Bhakta Prabhu, and Purushottam. Let's thank our cooks for today. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So after having a nice feast, if you have some time, you can go to the kitchen because they normally need help with the cleanup. So if you could, you can spend 15 or 20 minutes helping them out. We will really appreciate it. Now we'll sing the Prasadam prayers. Sharira vidya jal jodendriya taheka jibe phele bishaya sagore tar madhe jibayati Lobo moy sudurmati take jeta katina samsare Krishna bado doyamo kori bare jibbaja Shwaprasadana dilo bhai Se annamrita pao Radha Krishna guna gao Preme dako Shri Chaitanya Nitai Preme dako Shri Chaitanya Nitai Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasunai Vijayate Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanirasya Upajayate Prasanna Chetaso Hi Ashu Buddhi Paryavatishtate Tavyopa Bhukta Sraganda Vaso Lankara Charchita Uchishta Bojino Dasastava Mayam Jayemahi Shushkam Paryushitam Vapi Nitam Vaduradeshata Prapti Matrena Bhoktavyam Natra Kala Vicharana Na Desha Niyamastatra Na Kala Niyamastata Praptamannam Drutam Shishtair Bhoktavyam Harira Bravit. Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasadam ki jai. Prasadam will be distributed in the picnic area. Go out and take a sharp right. Hare Krishna, please take prasadam. Yes, one more announcement. Yes. What is it? Yeah, we need volunteers for 10 minutes in the kitchen right now or after the prasadam. Before or after? Before and after. Yeah. Some before? Yeah, Prabhu, we have one. Thank you. We have Prem Kirtan Prabhu, Prem Nam Kirtan Prabhu, and Tim Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, books are available behind this door. Please come and collect your copy, and Prabhu is here to sign them. Please collect your signed copy.